just my competitive spirit. I always want to do a little bit better, make a little more money, run faster, lift heavier, whatever it is. So that's why I say more.
300K?
300K.
All right.
Let's do it.
New title of the video. Jimmy makes 300K this year.
You heard it.
All right. Jimmy's back. So thank you everyone for all the support. We got 30,000 views at the moment that I'm filming this on the Ace Personal Trainer video. So I brought Jimmy back. I texted him the other day, hey, would you come back for a follow-up, man? There's too many questions. I'm getting hit up by questions. He's getting DMs literally every week from this video. So I was like, look, let's come back. Let's do a round 2. I got some new questions for you. I want updates. And this is that video. It's a better conversation and a better interview than the first one was. Watch through to the end of it. Subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying this video or any of the other videos I've made. And hit the like if you want to support Jimmy, because actually no, that's wrong. Hit the like, but go follow Jimmy at Built by Jimmy. I just support this guy. He is a rock star. I can't get enough. Enjoy the interview, everyone. Peace. So, a lot of people watched our original video, because of the title of it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
people want to make money.
So the world wants to know, what are you planning on making this year?
The answer is going to be more.
More?
Yeah.
More than 200K?
Yeah.
All right, you don't have to give any exact numbers, but how much more? Are we talking like 50%? Are we talking like 1,000%? Like how much more? We're in San Francisco. People are trying to like order of magnitude growth. So
I'm sure there is a number, okay? And the short answer is I don't know, really.
Okay.
But the whole point is, I think if you go into something trying to make a certain amount of money, especially something like 200K or even more 300K, whatever it is, as a personal trainer, it's almost like you're not going to make it, because you want to, like, I got some of the questions I got was like, how long do you have to work every day to make 200K?
Yeah.
And that too, I mean, I'm sure there is a number, and I'm sure it's high compared to the average, but I'm not sitting there trying to count the hours and like count the dollars. The dollars will end up however they end up.
So you're more like gonna bring in the money that you can throughout the year, grow the way you can organically, and then look back and do your QuickBooks afterwards.
And count the money. Yeah. The 200K is really a number that, I mean, it was kind of a safer number that I knew I was gonna hit. I didn't want to. I'm not the kind of guy.
You don't want to embellish.
Yeah. And based on like, okay, if I work 8 hours, 40-hour week, 100 hours, $100 an hour, I'll probably 200K. And I was like, oh, I do way more than that, so I'm fine.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the number I came up with. But just my competitive spirit, I always want to do a little bit better, make a little more money, run faster, lift heavier, whatever it is. So that's why I say more.
300K?
300K.
All right.
Let's do it.
New title of the video. Jimmy makes 300K this year.
You heard it.
All right. So recap me. Where have you been since the last video? Like, what's new? Catch us up.
Well, I lost 15 pounds. That's why I look so small.
Nice. I think it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah. So I mean, it's all based on function. I'm planning to run my first marathon in a month, so I've been training for that, and so I haven't been lifting weights for like probably 4 months now. 4 solid.
You're not lifting at all.
Not lifting any weights.
Dude, that sounds so scary.
I know. Well, I'll handle weights during my sessions and whatnot. So, but I haven't really been lifting anything that'll test my body. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that's new. But other than that,
business wise,
so the model has stayed relatively the same. I think my ratio of clients that I have outside of my 2 main gyms has grown. So I think that's pretty much the only thing. I think it's given me a little more time to at least play around with new ideas. So I got invited to Business Networking International Group, which I didn't even know what it was, but it's basically a bunch of independent contractors that get together in a city, and they give each other referrals.
Okay.
Like that's their whole thing.
Cool.
And so it's a lot of these really successful people that just are in this group, and so it gave me the opportunity to like have at least a little bit of time to explore that kind of option rather than just purely just what's the next client, get the next client to train it, get the next client.
So more strategy, more like real effective networking, and less like guerrilla in the gym.
Exactly. Yeah, like, that'd be a great way to explain it.
Approaching people, sort of thing. How did you get into that?
It was one of the guys that comes from one of my group classes. Yeah. Just, he kind of knows where I'm at, and he invited me to it. You never know who people know. Exactly. You never know. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's actually a great tip. So, all right. Oh my God, she is singing outside. I love it.
I live on the most interesting block in San Francisco. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a bunch of the questions that you got since we made our video were from younger personal trainers or potential personal trainers who just don't really know how to get started. Can you just give a generic answer to what you want to say, or hit it like across all those questions that you got? Like what things rapid fire? Right. I think one of the main questions I got was, I guess let's start chronologically, people that were super young. Yeah, like 14. Yeah, 14-year-olds that were basically, they wanted to be personal trainers, but other than that, they had pretty much no clue as to what to do. Okay. And, I want to be really careful answering these questions because you don't want to give them such a specific answer because you have no clue who these kids are, and they have their potential is limitless. Right? I don't want to box them in on basically what I know, so I'll try to just give them something really, really generic, like self-awareness is a really big theme. I think that you have to know, whether it's in personal training, in sales, everywhere. Yeah. But knowing what you have, knowing what you're good at, and then from there, that gives you a lot of work to do. But then you can start to improve it if you want to, or just know where you're at in the world. Like, who are you? Know your strengths. Yeah, in the world. Thing. So, something that would apply even if they change their mind, which many of them will. When you're 14, do you really know? Yeah, do you really know? Although there might be that one kid who does and goes on and becomes like the best personal trainer. I guess that turns out to be you because you were young when you started doing this stuff. Right? You were in sports and I was in sports, and what I didn't know was like, obviously when I'm 14 and my parents are telling me, hey, you should be a doctor and you should be a lawyer and all this stuff. Personal trainer is never going to cross my mind, but what I did know was I loved coaches. I love good coaches, and there's, I had a lot of coaches because I was always in like 4 or 5 different sports year round, and so I understood what like a good coach, what kind of like a good workout communication type deal, what that was, and looking back, I think that's like a very valuable thing. So I'll just try to tell people, hey, pay attention to that. That's super interesting. So if a young person approaches you and says, I want to be a personal trainer, you would say, look to your coach in school. Look to your coach to see what they do. Does that seem interesting to you? Yeah, I would just tell them. I wouldn't even tell them, look at your coach. Maybe on the second or third conversation I would tell them. But I would first start with are you into any sports? Like, what do you enjoy about the sports? Like, is there someone you look up to? Something like that. Yeah. And then if the coach came up, if they like the team aspect or something like that, then I would start getting a little bit more into that. But I would just start by asking them a bunch of questions. Yeah. So I think self-awareness is probably the biggest thing I would tell the youngest group. Tell me, flipping the topic here, tell me about putting up flyers. Oh yeah, the flyers. Okay. So this was my senior year of college. Okay. So I went to University of California, Irvine. Were you ACE certified yet or no? No. Right. Far from it. Okay. And I had just finished an internship
at a personal training studio.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's one thing I'll always tell people is valuable, is getting a personal training internship at a personal training studio, so you can see what day-to-day kind of feels like and looks like.
How do you find that?
I was on some generic job, like where you would find internships. It must have been through school.
Okay.
I just can't see myself
That's
like
a good
going down
resource.
it.
So go through school, look at job sites for internships.
Or honestly, if it's a personal training studio, I can bet that if you just emailed or called or texted the owner of that training studio, because those guys and girls, they conduct business, they got to do their own thing. They got to run it themselves. So if you contact them and say, hey, look, I'm a 18-year-old senior college student at this and this, and I'm really interested about personal training, I will go in and I will clean your barbells and clean your windows and put your weights back for you and be a brand ambassador for you if you need to, and and this kind of stuff. I mean, they're not gonna, it's hard for them to say no. So I think offer them something, and in return, I mean, all you're gonna ask is, hey, can I just be a fly on the wall? Just if you need anything, I'll be there for you. And
get to know, make friends with the trainers there.
The trainers, yeah, and that'll happen as a byproduct. But just if you want to approach it that way, that's probably what I would do.
Circling back to the flyer story,
yeah,
college.
Flyer.
Yep.
The flyers. Okay, so I just finished that internship.
Yeah.
And this was when obviously I had no money. So I mean, I was eating I remember I was eating sugar. I would take sugar packets from the cafeteria, and I had a stick of butter one time, and I would just microwave the butter and put sugar on it.
No.
And then you would think it was good, right? Because it's butter and sugar.
It's like most of a cookie.
Yeah. So I remember eating it. It was so disgusting. I would never recommend that to anyone. But anyway, wow. That's where I was at, right? So I was eating 10-cent burritos for months on end.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go out and let's make some money. So the only really way I knew, I just was kind of using my resources, was to print out a flyer, and I had put a little before and after picture of myself. Mm-hmm. And the flyer basically had a little blurb on it, had my number at the top. Mm-hmm. And that was it. I was like, here, please contact me. And so I put those up. I put 6 of them up.
Okay.
And
around campus?
Around my little community.
Okay.
So I've lived in this little community called Campus Village at UCI. And and there was a community gym where I did a lot of my lifting.
Okay.
So I kind of put it around the community, and then also I went door to door. So I knocked on every door, every single door in the whole community.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
door.
I had nothing. It was so bad. I mean, I don't even know if you could call it a pitch, but I was probably hey, I'm I do training, and it's probably sounded like that. It was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. I could my public speaking skills were so bad.
Yeah.
And but I don't know, my heart was in the right place. So I went door to door. So long story short, I didn't sell anything, but from the flyer, I got 2 clients, mm-hmm. Raymond and Mazin. No, sorry, not Mazin. Mazin. And those guys, I mean, I'm still in contact with them today. We did some really, really hard workouts, just tons of drop sets. But hey, those are my first 2 paid clients right there for my flyer. So
that's another huge tip, that Guerilla style.
I bet
your flyers would still work today. I'm not so sure door to door, because people aren't from a sales perspective. Let me just throw some sales flair on this. There's no indication of need, right? You're just knocking on doors. There's nothing about that.
There's no qualified leads there.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
but if someone sees a flyer and then makes the decision to contact you, I think flyers would still crush right now, actually.
And it's low resource, you know, it doesn't, it's not a little cost thing.
So that actually brings me like another question, something we just talked about off camera, which is you're not trying to take over the entire world here. You have a gym or like a area or like, you know, some sort of area. So flyers works because you're not trying to scale to this incredible, and you're also making good money doing this. So
exactly,
can you speak to like what the right scale is and what should people even be shooting for?
I think you really want to think about, you know, I think a lot of trainers try to get caught up in like taking over the world.
Yes.
Right. It's like, and I think there's like a famous motivational speech or whatever by Will Smith who says if you want to build the best house, you don't go set out and just try to build a house. You try to lay this brick as best as possible, right? So to get to like, you know, a roster of like 50 clients and 100 clients or whatever as a personal trainer, you don't want to go out and try to get 100 clients. You just go out and you get one client and you put everything you can into this one client and you do the best you can with this one client.
Yeah.
And it's a product that if you do a good job, people are going to notice.
Yeah.
The person that you're training is going to tell his or her friends. And, so it's a product that will speak for itself. So just try to it's better to have one really, really, really strong client, strong lead rather than, you know, 1,000 really shallow ones.
How long would you expect if you have let's just say you do have one good client and you're just pouring all your energy into that, and let's just assume that this trainer is doing a good job.
Right.
How long would you expect before that sort of catalyzes and flywheels into more?
I mean, honestly, it could start right away. So let's say you give them a great experience, right? You're just it was just a really fun time to be around you. Right? If that's like what you really got.
If you delight them. Yeah.
Right away, that weekend, they're going to be like, hey, I went to the gym and like, oh man, it was just a great time at the gym. And then their friends going to be like, what's going on there? And they're going to start to notice. So I think it could start right away, right? And of course you have the experience that's important. The result, right? So if someone looks like they've lost a lot of weight, people
people know.
But that might take a while.
3 months, 6 months,
right? Yeah. Another way you could do it is like you can force the issue by rewarding the client that you have now for like referrals. So you can say, hey, I'll throw in a couple extra sessions if you go to your family or, you know, whatever the situation is. Maybe they have like a networking group.
So maybe like augmenting it a little bit.
Yeah, you can augment that process a little bit if it's not working. Obviously, organically is like the best way because it's just them telling the story. So you want it to be really authentic. But, you know, if you really, really, really needed the referrals, then you obviously could.
I'm always a big fan of like the idea where you need to be doing a great job, right? Like, or else no one's going to refer you regardless. Yeah. But I do kind of like laying the cookie crumb trail so people know where to go and how to do this stuff for you if they want to. So anyway, I would consider a cookie crumb trail method less than like a brute force. Let me try to get everyone to talk about me. Yeah. Because that won't work because you're probably too focused on growing and not focused enough on being awesome at what you do. So another way to delight your clients is to use apparel like what you're wearing.
That's right
here. I asked if you all could buy any of this and the answer is no.
The answer is no.
But tell me how you use apparel within your business right now.
So my apparel is purely designed to create a strong brand within a single location. I think it's much different than, you know, I really want to be clear that I'm not an apparel business. I'm never going to be an apparel business, although, you know, I do get a lot of compliments on my sweatshirt that says Boom on it or whatever else.
Can we see the sweatshirt?
Yeah, bring it out.
Let me see this thing.
Yeah.
So
I wear this thing everywhere.
Front built by Jimmy logo. Back has just got a big old
boom, and it's got built by Jim. It's got my Instagram, it's got my Facebook,
and this guy has
Simple.
ended every single training session with me with a boom. Every single time. I didn't know that was like a branding thing for you until just now.
I mean, it is, yeah. I think that's I put it on the sweatshirt because I just realized I say that a lot. Like that's just the thing where I was just like always like boom, and I would just say stuff like, oh, whatever it takes, 1,000%. I would just say these things, and then I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna choose like a tagline, I'll just, it's not like I put it on the sweatshirt and I was like, I gotta say this like 10 times now. Yeah, so it's just like a really natural thing. But back to the
apparel question.
Apparel, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all it is. It's just you want to become, as prevalent as possible within one single location.
Yeah.
And that may lead to more exposure and more leads, and that could get you more clients. But a short story about the sweatshirt. This is new, and this is a newer thing. But the sweatshirt I've had since 2016, so 4 years. And when I bought the sweatshirt, I was like broke. So I pretty much put whatever I had into buying 6 different sweatshirts. And I still have them all.
Literally, you bought for yourself 6 different sweatshirts.
Yep, and I went broke with it. So I spent the last of what I had on these sweatshirts. Yeah.
Why?
So because I knew how important the branding was within the gym that I was operating at, which was Dolby Laboratories.
Okay.
I was in corporate fitness at the time, so I was just training the employees of Dolby.
And you just wanted to be rocking Built by Jimmy.
Exactly. 100%. And I was rocking. I bought one shirt too. I only bought one shirt, and I had people wear this shirt over their own shirt so I could take a photo of it.
And then I
would take it back, and then I would put it on someone else and be like, hey, can I take a quick photo of you?
This is what it takes, though. Like, this is the type of stuff, that creative thinking where you are so restricted. You had no money
capital,
at all, and you still found a way.
Yeah, you just got to find a way. In the beginning, you got to find a way. If you don't have resources,
you have to really want it to do stuff like that.
Really want it. And guess what? I mean, at the time, I think there were 2 other trainers at that gym. And guess who came out on top?
Where are they now?
Yeah, so I had this competition. We had just opened the gym, and it's like we're all on this level playing field, right? But like you got to do something to set yourself apart.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to be enough to just be a better trainer. You probably need to do something a little more noticeable.
Yeah.
If you really want to see the clients roll in at a higher rate. And
did it work?
It worked. Yeah. Oh yeah, it worked.
You were the only one rocking Built by Jimmy shirt.
I was the only one, and I remember I think by month 3 I had 30 clients. So 3 months in, I had 30 clients. I was seeing because at the time we sold 30-minute sessions, 45-minute sessions, 60-minute sessions.
Yeah.
I was seeing 16 to 18 people every day, well, Monday through Friday, and it was a lot of clients, and which is a good thing, you know, it was a good thing. And I think the other trainers had 2 or 3 clients max, the whole week or so.
So you were 10 times better than them.
Yeah, in the business, I'm sure not as people, but yeah, in the business, 10 times better than them.
All right, I thought. So you sent over a bunch of questions to me that you've received. One of them that stuck out to me that I thought was really interesting, and I'm assuming there's quite a bit of this, is ex-athletes becoming personal trainers.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want to say to them? What's the advice? I know it's I can imagine if you're an athlete, you're training the same thing for your entire life, basically, up into a certain point whenever you have to retire for injury or for aging out.
Right.
That's a hard transition. Maybe they consider becoming a personal trainer or not. What do you have to say to those folks?
I think the first thing you got to realize is being able to perform a task at a high level does not mean you can communicate that task and get somebody else to do it as well. So understanding, you know, and kind of having respect for the game in terms of like, you know, I am way ahead of some of my other contemporaries in the field, but I still have a lot of work to do, you know, so kind of just setting the tone there.
Like take it down a notch. Like come down to, or meet people where they're at.
Yeah, where you, like all the work you've done will pay off. I promise. It will pay off.
Yeah. But
you can't kind of just ride that wave and go. Even if you're a professional athlete, and I ask myself this all the time, right? Like I'll ask myself if LeBron James became a personal trainer today, would I be out of business? Like if he came into the gym and was hired, would I be out of business? And every day those kind of questions, you know, keep me up at night. And I you know, how am I going to beat, like if LeBron James came in and he was the new trainer, right? So you got to understand, like, the communication aspect. Yeah. And number two, I think you just got to look at like what your skill set is. So like you said, if they're training the specific skill set, you know, to win a football game, to win a basketball game, to win a swim race. Yeah. You're training for this super specific goal. Yeah. And so I think it's important to kind of note, like, what is it you do really well and what is it you don't do really well compared to your market. Yeah. So like if you're going in and all your clientele are swimmers and you were a professional swimmer, well, perfect. And their goal is to become a better swimmer. Right. I mean, your goal. But chances are if you're entering into like the marketplace, you're going to have clients that want to do X, you know, so try to relate. If you're like a professional swimmer, it used to be, try to relate what your skill set is and how can what I know make somebody quote unquote normal or average better, and answering those kind of questions.
You know, that's the first thing you asked me when we started working together, is what I wanted to do. And aside from lose weight, I didn't really have an answer. Like I didn't have a positive answer until you made me think about how much I enjoyed running. Yeah. And think back to the days where I used to run more and how incredible it was and how good I felt. Yeah. And as a result, you know, we had something to shoot for here, and everything this guy did with me was tailored to running, and I still do all this stuff, like still today, like it changed my life.
I love it.
So I aside from saying, I guess, thank you for doing all that.
My pleasure.
That's something that I guess, my point is that's something important, is to focus on what the person that you're going to be training actually wants.
Yeah. And I think that this is really, really important. What you just said is beautiful, because as a trainer, not only is it a complicated process to find out what each individual person wants. Yeah. But you sitting down and having a conversation in a gym setting or in an office setting, if you do it there, of, hey, what is it you want to do? Right? That question answer dialogue is, no one's going to sit there and give you like a deeper answer, right? They're going to say things like, oh, I want to lose weight. Of course, you're not going to sit there and go, if I ask you in the gym, hey, what is it you want to do? You're not going to sit there and go, well, I want to become happy. Can you do that for me? You're never going to hear that. That's not going to make sense for that person. So you take one day at a time. What is it you want to do? Well, it seems like running is running something you enjoy. Yes. Well, what if we got you?
I had like a mental breakdown and almost like cried when I thought about how much I used to enjoy running, by the way.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's kind of what you're looking for, is what is it that this person is going to really, really, really be motivated by. Yeah. And something that they care about. So I think getting good at that process, but then the whole idea of it is, you know, come in with a total blank mindset, a total open, don't assume anything. Got it. You have information maybe you've seen the person before, maybe you've seen them do certain things, but those are the only things that you can assume about this person. You can't, you know, everything else, find out, you know, ask him, ask her or him. And that's going to get you to understanding what they're going to get out of it a lot more.
What's next for Built by Jimmy?
What's next for Built by Jimmy? I think just continue to get better. That's pretty much the only theme I could think of. I mean, I'm always on the lookout for opportunities and ways to scale and grow and all this kind of stuff. But right now, I mean, if you're my client, I'm putting everything into making your life better.
Are you getting hit up too much, or do we want to plug your Instagram again?
No, plug it. I love it. So I loved everyone. The thing I loved about everyone that reached out was they were so respectful. They were like,
everyone was.
I know that you're really, really busy, and I really appreciate the time. But I mean, I FaceTimed with a couple people. I was on phone calls. Yeah, I was on phone calls with a couple people. I DM'd a whole bunch. Some people texted me because my Instagram is linked to my phone.
Yeah.
I don't mind any of it. I love it. Like, you guys remember, I was that super broke kid, basically, who just needed to make a living. And, you know, I just crawled through the mud to do it. And so if you guys need any type of help, I mean, that's the kind of person I want to help out. So cool. Please,
So
plug it in.
At Built by Jimmy on Instagram. Drop him a follow. If you have questions, DM. If you're in San Francisco, purchases something from him. Become a client.
Yeah, I love it.
And any last words before we wrap?
Boom.
Boom! There it is. There it is. Thanks for coming by, Jimmy.
My pleasure.
You're the best, dude.
Thank you. You're the best.